This is gonna be a very different video from what you usually see. I'm not really the type of person to talk on camera. I'm like one of those introverted players that have the darkest webcams in existence and never talks for the entirety of their stream. But I thought this would be a decent change of pace considering I never give myself the chance to interact with my community on a personal level. I also plan to keep making videos like this so that I don't seem like this clickbait automotive individual that spams pointless Osu shorts for views and clout. Maybe. Today, what I want to do in this video is just be straight up in the flesh, tear that massive ghost seed, and I want to answer this age-old question that's been around in people's heads for quite a while. And it's been brought up by one person in the comments of my recent video. I thought you quit Osu, with like 6 question marks. If you aren't aware about my past, especially the ones who stumble across this channel for the first time, 10 months ago I made a video titled I'm Done, where I essentially talked about how I wanted to stop playing Osu professionally and just straight up any sort of Osu content in general. The sheer stress of trying to balance tourney map pool practice as well as solo play, as well as being in the midst of all the community drama that's happened over the past 5 or 6 years, of which I won't go over considering that is just way too much information to unfold that someone could probably make an entire video covering. It has caused me to realize that enough is enough, and that I should stay away from the community, protect my personal health, and just focus on personal content that was more fleshed out and branched off into other sectors of the YouTube atmosphere. Well, as it turns out, if you went ahead and look at some of the videos that came after I made that ultimatum, the video hasn't really aged that well. It just really just comes off as very hypocritical, as I saw myself a couple months after coming back into the Osu community and making shorts that you've been seeing across the web with like the clickbait titles, the impact font. And I just want to apologize for that, because after I made my ultimatum to just stop playing Osu, just to stay away from making any sort of content or anything of that matter, there was just no finite plan that was just gonna keep this channel afloat in the long run. And it wasn't that I just had no ideas that I wanted to implement to this channel. I did. It was just that I often abandoned those ideas because either I thought no one would be interested, or there would be some ideas that I lacked confidence in doing, or I just generally thought I was gonna just copy someone else's content. And I put emphasis on that reason because I found it really hard to be original considering the amount of videos you can be influenced by now. Like, for example, I can just go out and play horror games 24/7 and scream my ass off for the majority of my videos, and I could be content with that. But it's just that there's just so many individuals that are doing that right now, and more so channels that do it far more entertaining and far more professional, that it just really is so difficult to just sit down and ask yourself, how can I take this one type of content and make it into something that is unique and enjoyable, that can give people a reason to stay on this channel. And because of that sort of mindset, I end up getting mind blocked on what sort of ideas I could just put on the channel. The viewership on videos that came after the ultimatum went completely down. The overall growth that was on this channel before became stagnant. Ultimately, I wasn't enjoying making content, all because I couldn't think of anything unique to make up for what people have known me for in the past. One of my most viewed videos at the time before I quote-unquote quit was the All-Star Show match, where I got to play with some of the best players on one of the hardest map pools to date. And generally speaking, I missed that experience, being able to talk to players like White Cat, Flying Tuna, Rectagon, Eternum, Arson, Intercambling, some of which I'm still really good friends with. And at a later date, I collaborated with one of them for a diss track on BTMC, and then had BTMC react to that song on stream. It was just fucking amazing. And none of that would have been generally possible if I hadn't grinded those countless hours on the game to get to where I am. The traction and positivity from these videos was just so immaculate that it made me realize that if I were to quit this game, if I were to abandon all traces of who I am and what I do, I'll be abandoning a community that has just looked up to me and saw potential of where this future of this channel holds. And for someone like me who's been involved in the OSU community for so long, I feel like that's the last thing that a viewer on my channel wants to see happen. And for the channel to fall into complete obscurity. And I also want to add that when I think about the possibility that there is a group of people out there who genuinely support what I do and what I put out into the world, it made me realize that if there are internal problems within the community that you've been involved in, what you can try doing is just build your own community that doesn't even have those problems to begin with. And I don't want to waste that opportunity. I don't want to waste the trust I built within the OSU community. I don't want to waste the potential that I built gameplay wise and content wise. I don't want to waste anyone's time. And with that being said, I just want to say that I'm genuinely sorry. I'm sorry that there's been a lot of confusion surrounding my motives, what I wanted to do with this channel. I'm sorry there's been a lack of transparency that I failed to telegraph throughout my social media platforms. I'm usually not that good with making promises, as I often break them every so often, but this is probably just a promise that I won't break for the rest of my life and the rest of the time I spend making content for this channel. I promise from the bottom of my heart that if I were to make that kind of ultimatum, that it wouldn't be as immature and indecisive as it played out throughout social media. And I just generally can't quit the game. I just can't. There's just way too much that I'll be sacrificing in order to make that kind of decision right now. And yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to cover in this video. I apologize that this subject has been covered sooner, and that again, I should have been way more transparent with this type of stuff. It's just one of those things I had to get off my chest eventually and not have to worry about it in the long run. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of these types of videos. I do have plenty of other topics that I want to cover, as well as video ideas that I want to implement to this channel as soon as possible. I'll leave you guys with an intro that I made yesterday for this channel. Let me know how you feel about it. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later.